Hello, this is Edith Neumeyer, and I'm the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. I want to continue with Judaism, and I am not done with this Noahide law. Okay, why? Because it's being pushed by Judaism. I have listened to this rabbi, James Richmond, and he is doing videos on YouTube for this Noahide World Center. Okay, that's what they call it, Noahide World Center, and you can find it under noahideworldcenter.com as well. And so this Rabbi James Richmond is talking, has lots of different videos on the Noahide law. And of course, what is he? He is a rabbi, okay? And he is telling us about this Noahide law and what is he really pushing on. Now remember, this Noahide law is supposed to be laws, basic laws that were given to the descendants of Noah, which we all are, okay, even the Jews, right? They were giving to supposedly Noah, and I still couldn't find out really how do we know that Noah gave those laws. We don't know. But some sage, okay, do you know what sage is? Sage is a teacher of Judaism, okay? The sage is usually like a rabbi or a learned person from Judaism who has studied Talmud, okay? They say Torah. This guy comes up constantly talking about Torah, but yet he falls always back to the sages. And he says one time, Torah and the tradition of the sages. So what he is really talking about is Talmud, okay? So I listened to this rabbi, and I have come to the conclusion, okay, all the things he's saying, that he wants, this Jewish group wants the Gentiles under this law, okay, this Noahide law. They are not happy that they are under this law, okay, the law of Moses. Oh no, they have to put everybody else under that law. So everybody else is misled. He does not realize, and he does not want to realize. He's talking about the will of God. What is that called? Rezon or red zone? Red zone. Of course, I'm not Hebrew, so don't know. Red zone, I think. The will of God, right? What is the will of God? It's the will of God that we're doing all these mitzvot. Okay, that's what he's calling the good deeds. Mitzvot are the good deeds. And I'm sorry, I'm butchering the language. But really, that's what they are. They're good deeds. So he is saying that this whole thing is built on good deeds. And so the seven basic, the Noahide laws, these basic laws, okay, are a starting point for Gentiles to really get into the will of God and to do good deeds. See, we have been deceived, Christianity has been deceived by the Roman Catholic Church to believe that we have to do these good deeds, okay? Maybe they are anything different than the same thing that Judaism is teaching their people. Oh, we have to do good deeds to get into heaven. It is nothing but a man-made religion, okay? It's not what the will of God is. Now, this guy should know better. He calls himself a rabbi. He says, oh, I know Torah. But no, he doesn't know Torah. He knows Talmud. Okay? And Talmud is telling him how to read Torah and how to interpret it. He doesn't understand that Torah is all about Messiah. It's all about Messiah. The whole Torah is nothing but a symbol of Messiah. And see, he is totally misleading people away from that. In my last video about this Noahide law, I was talking more about people just getting so, fearful about cutting the head off and them implementing these Noahide laws. But you know what? We shouldn't get angry about cutting the head off or blah, blah, blah. We need to actually get upset about what they're already teaching. Now, this Noahide World Center these videos are from 2011. So they're almost 8 years old, these videos. Yeah, February 12th, 2011. They're 8 years old. Okay? 8 years old. So this thing has been going on for a long time. And what I see, the danger in this, I see very, very much, is that they are trying to put the Gentiles under the same taskmaster or a similar taskmaster as they are under. Because what happens? Why do you think God put the Israelites under the law? Why did he do that? Because when Moses came down from Mount Sinai and he had the laws in his hands, right? God was upset and he wanted to really destroy them. Okay? And so God or Moses really just begged God not to do that. And so he put them under the law. Okay? He put them under the law. And the Jews should know that the law is not saving anybody. You can do as many mitzvot as you want. Okay? Or mitzvot. Yeah, mitzvot. Sorry, I'm trying to learn Hebrew so people are more comfortable. But anyways, I shouldn't even do that. We cannot do enough deeds to please God. We know that, and we should know that, because guess what? It is in the Old Testament. We cannot please God. God gave us the law as an example that we are fallen creatures. That's what God gave us the law for. Okay? And we don't have to go to the Noahide laws to learn that. We don't need that. We can go to the 10 Commandments and know exactly that we cannot live up to any commandments, period. Okay? We cannot. Why? That's why there's judgment there. If we're not fulfilling any, well, you know what? Okay, we're gonna be judged. Yeah, okay. Is that what they want? They want to just kill all the non-Jews, all the goys, all the dogs? They want to kill all the dogs? Okay? You can't teach a dog a new trick. They're going to be that way. Okay? They're going to be the way they are. They're fallen creatures. And guess what? The Jews are goys too. They're just as goys as anybody else. Okay? I don't care what anybody says. If you are not following really the plan of God, you are a goy. Bottom line. Bottom line. Okay? Bottom line. And these people that are trying to implement these Noahide laws, they cannot even keep their own law. Not even their own law. The law that was given by Moses, they cannot even keep that. And they know it's a burden, so now they're going to think they can put this burden on all the Gentiles? The Gentiles, well, actually, it's not the Gentiles. I think all human beings, they will do what they want to do. They cannot even convince their own people to go by Torah. Okay? Not even their own people. Do you think they can convince 80% of Israel who do not even follow Torah and the law of Moses and the prophets? You think they can convince 80% of Israel and make them follow the law of Moses? They should probably start putting at least these 7 Noahide laws on Israel. That's where they should be starting. They should not be starting with any Gentiles, because you know what? We are all living under sin. Now, I know the Jews should know that better than anybody else. They should know that we are under sin. When we sinned, and we all sinned in the garden, you can go back to our first parents, okay? The first parents, they should know that they sinned. And because they sinned, we are disconnected from God. And we are a bunch of hoodlums, okay? I'm going to use the word. We are a bunch of hoodlums and goys. All of us. We are all of us are goys. Why? Because we're disconnected from God. We're disconnected from God. Why? Because we're not even want to please God. We can't please God because our fallen nature is not allowing it. How many times has God tried to bring back Israel to himself until he finally said, you know what, I'm done with you guys. And you know what? The 10 tribes of Israel never came back. Why? God divorced them. God divorced them. Now, if you are a Jew right now listening to this, yeah, I challenge you to go and check out Jeremiah and see if that's not true. But you want them back in Israel? You're using the word, the name Israel for your state? I don't mind you having a state, but you're using the word Israel for 10 tribes that were totally scattered among all the Gentiles, okay? Never returning, okay? Because God divorced them, because they lost the right to the land, because they committed idolatry. And so God said, our covenant with you, my covenant with you is over. Okay? That's what happened. They couldn't keep the commandments. Why? Because it's impossible for human beings to keep the commandments. Why? Because we fell and we're not connected to God anymore. We are not even capable, of doing God's will. And that's why God said, I will send you a Savior. I myself will be your salvation. How many times does he have to say that through the prophets, through Moses, through Abraham, through Isaac, through Jacob? How many times does he have to say he is going to bring about a Messiah? He said it to Abram. He promised it to Abram. One of his seeds will be Messiah. Okay? He promised it to Judah. One of his descendants, not all of the descendants, one of his descendants will be the Messiah. He promised it to David. One of your descendants will be Messiah. Okay? And what are we thinking? Or what are the Jews constantly thinking? They are the ones who are going to bring salvation to the rest of the world. And that is another thing with this stupid Noahide law, just to push down their false salvation, their man-made salvation on Gentiles. That's exactly what is happening. And you know what? People shouldn't get upset about their heads being cut off. They should be upset with all the deception that right now is coming out of this Noahide law stuff. That's what they should be upset about. Not, oh, what are they going to do and whether they're going to implement it, blah, blah, blah. Just the sheer thought of, again, these Jews who call themselves Jews, right, and are not, pushing their bondage on everybody else. I have no problem with any Jews wanting to follow their plan of salvation. They can do it. Okay? I don't mind it. I think that's fine because everybody should be able to follow their own plan of salvation. But, to push something on somebody else that they cannot even fulfill. They cannot even fulfill it. Okay? I think is very terrible. Okay? It is, It's outrageous. It's outrageous. Again, you want to push these Noahide laws on Israel? Go ahead and do it. Because you know what? Israel needs them. Okay? Israel needs them. 80%, I was told 80% of the people, the Jews in Israel, don't even follow the law of Moses. Okay? They don't even know nothing, or they don't care. Okay? They don't care. And the rest, they only follow really Talmud. And then they constantly say, oh, Torah, Torah, Torah. And nobody follows Torah or the prophets. All they're following is Talmud and their traditions of the sages. This guy said it again. I mean, I almost flipped over when he said that. He constantly talked about the sages. So who are the sages? Tell me who the sages are. The sages are the ones, or not just limited to, but most of these big sages are the ones that wrote interpretations in Talmud. Those are the sages. And of course, other sages are the sages that have been influenced by Kabbalah. Oh, those are the sages too. Yeah, they have definitely influenced the traditions. If you need to look at my other video about Kabbalah, do so. Because these sages are very influenced, also by Kabbalah. I'm not saying that everything these sages are saying is wrong. And they're building probably 80% of what they're saying on Torah and the prophets. But there is so much that they're building on tradition. And tradition, I have discussed that before, is not necessarily coming from Torah. Okay? The will of God, they don't even understand what the will of God is. Again, let's talk about what is the will of God. The will of God is to bring forth Messiah. And they don't know about, they wait for Messiah. They talk about Messiah. But in the meantime, what are they doing? They're creating their own little practices to get to heaven. No, only Messiah is the one who is going to save us. Only Messiah. Period. Okay? It is not, or should I say Mashiach? Which one should I say? Okay? Which sounds more Jewish? Mashiach or Messiah? I think they use both of them, so maybe I'm safe. But anyways, I was just, he's talking about a healthy, functioning world. Okay? A healthy, functioning world should be under the Noahide laws. It just floors me. Do you know, most of this world is under a Judeo-Christian kind of law. I know the United States is, and most of the countries in Europe are. So many are under this Judeo-Christian law system. So our laws are very related to the Ten Commandments. Okay? So we are already following really these Ten Commandments, except, of course, the one with God. Okay? But don't kill, don't steal, don't commit adultery. We're pretty lax with the adultery thing. You know what? It doesn't matter anymore if you commit adultery. Just get a, divorce and everything is okay. But at least don't steal, don't kill, respect somebody else. So everything is kind of based on some of these, laws. Okay? And well, we just have a really good system, don't we? Yeah, we have a lot of criminals too. Do you know what will happen if we would build the world system on the Noahide laws? Nothing different. You know why? Because people are not going to go by it. They're not going to go by it because they can't. There are so many, should I say, bad apples in a batch. Okay? There's just very many bad apples in a batch. Okay? And that is in every culture. Again, look at Israel. Yeah, they really have a good society. I don't think so. Okay, I don't think so. But again, I haven't even watched everything about this Noahide law thing. And I think it's a YouTube channel called Noahide World Center. It's one word. Okay, you probably can learn quite a lot. Here's one: universal Sabbath for non-Jewish, probably for non-Jewish believers. Okay, so what are they doing? They're actually pushing down a um, watered down type of Judaism on down the Gentiles' throat. That's what they're doing. Okay, they're giving them a watered down version of Judaism. That's all they're doing. Okay, a watered down system. Why? Oh, because we're just goys. We're just dogs. Okay. I mean, dogs they don't have to do everything. Just some of it. Yeah, what? Some of what? Some of what? Some of these people's made up believe how you get to heaven? Is that what it is? I challenge, he's talking about here, I challenge you to really study this, okay? Not because you're afraid they will implement it. I mean, if they're ever going to implement this thing, oh boy. I mean, they should be starting with Israel first. They cannot even implement the Torah in Israel. Okay? I mean, why in the world will they push stuff like that on the Gentiles? It is just beyond me. It is another way of the Jews to control the world. That's all there's to it. Okay? That's all there's to it. Really? Again, I am not anti-Semitic, but this is anti-Goy, okay? This is anti-Gentile. Not even, the Gentiles don't even have their own right to their own salvation or their own, what do you call it? When you're not accepted, by God. I mean, does God give us a free will? Does he give us a free will? I think he does. And I really think everybody should have a free will to choose what they want to do. And I definitely would not follow these Noahide law things if they are pushed by the Jews. I will not do that. Because I see right now that the Jews right now cannot even, do their own little thing. Okay? They cannot even get their own people to do good deeds and to even realize what God's plan is. They lost total track of what Abraham was preaching, Noah was preaching, and all the people before the flood were preaching. Okay? They all preached Messiah, Moshiach. That's what they were preaching. They were all pointing to salvation in Moshiach, not salvation in ourselves, but salvation in Moshiach. Okay? Nothing else. All these good deeds, that all comes out of Kabbalah. That's all comes out of Kabbalah. This good deed stuff comes straight out of Kabbalah. Okay? The tradition of their sages. Now, do y'all want to follow Kabbalah? No, I don't. Absolutely not. It is all a deception. And I'll tell you right now that I know there's a lot of people out there that think they have to follow Judaism or incorporate Judaism into Christianity or their practices, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Hey, that is not what was passed down by Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, David, all the prophets, okay? And all the prophets, all the judges. No, that is not what they passed down. They did not pass down the Noahide laws to us. They passed down that Mashiach will come. that Mashiach is the one who will be not only our salvation, because God is our salvation. God is only our salvation. And one of the things they don't believe is that God actually himself becomes human being in Mashiach, even though it is in their prophets. The prophets tell us, okay? The prophets tell us who is pierced. They will look upon the one they have pierced. And that's what God is saying. Who was pierced? It was Mashiach. Mashiach. Okay? Yeah, I believe in Jesus, okay, who is the Word, who became flesh. And not the Word, that some letters put together by God to create the world. No, the Word that created the world, okay? The Word that created the world, that became flesh. Now, would you think your rabbis should figure out how that can happen? I would think they can figure that out. No human being is capable to save us. No human being. It is only God who is capable to save us. Because we are all fallen creatures. Why would your sages not understand that little concept? It is beyond me. It is beyond me. And people, even though they claim they know Mashiach and they follow Mashiach, they're even falling into the tracks of this kind of stuff, which just totally floors me. It just totally floors me. They're falling into the tracks and the deception of all kinds of bad teachers. Okay? So, but I'm coming to an end today, because I have talked enough about this Noahide law. And I don't know, I may just make another one. Hey, if you have time, I will again post one of these videos, on my group, my Facebook group. And I may also put a link underneath here in the description, so you can look it up and look up some of these things. But I think it's important that we do know about these Noahide laws, and that we don't panic. Okay? Oh my goodness, they're going to put us under these Noahide laws. If they really put us under these Noahide laws, I wouldn't want to be around. Okay? Because they would push all kinds of other stuff on us. And then we're going to be only goys anyways. So what good does it do to be around when we're only goys? Okay? And remember what goys mean. Goys means dogs. Okay? We're just dogs. Okay? Now, why in the world would we listen to somebody who treats us like dogs? And I'm not talking about the little pets that you have in the house that you're spoiling to death. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about dogs like the dogs outside that are being kicked and that are only getting the leftover food. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Not the little ones that are spoiled. So anyways, I'm coming to an end. Do some research on this. Listen to this guy, this rabbi, talking about what Noahide law is. And of course, he is a rabbi and he is following Judaism. And that's okay. We'll let him do that. We'll let anybody who wants to follow Judaism follow Judaism. And they will realize really someday what God's plan is in this Messiah or Mashiach. All right. Well, anyways, let the Holy Spirit guide you. And boy, oh boy, this is really heavy.